Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Coach Cody, a coach, consultant, and trusted advisor for high-performing leaders who love Jesus, helping them launch and scale businesses as arenas to bring God glory through breakthroughs in clarity, creativity, courage, and consistency. A husband, father of four, serial entrepreneur, avid bow hunter, and OCR athlete. Just a little bit. Cody brings experience from running events for a celebrity CEO of a 9-figure nonprofit, serving on a SaaS executive team, founding Backyard Shreds home gyms, and scaling mycoachcody.com to over 6 figures in under a year across cybersecurity, financial services, food and beverage consulting, and marketing. That's a little bit of a resume. Absolutely. He works with leaders these days who see businesses as a tool for good, guiding them past bottlenecks to steward opportunities fully. Coach Cody, a very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Wow, man, that's really impressive. You wrote all that? Like, I think that's all true. That's wow. I don't think I've ever heard it all put together like that.
I appreciate you putting it out there on your social media for me so I can pull it.
That's
I can
awesome,
pull it.
man. Well
Perfect,
done.
man. Yeah, pleasure having you on,
I'm gonna put
Cody.
that
It's
on my
going to be
tombstone.
maybe a little long. Let's chop it up a little bit. Let's ask the wife what she thinks.
There you go.
But it's going to be a great episode. We got a lot to dive into. Before we do, I do like to start with your background a little bit. So I touched on it briefly, but let's dive
Yeah.
in. Before building businesses, helping entrepreneurs, business owners to grow, what were you doing then? And what was really your inspiration for getting into this space?
You mentioned like a lot of things in that intro about my career. Most recently, like you said, I was leading kind of a customer experience team in this SaaS company. I was on the executive team of this SaaS company and doing a lot of like leadership, culture development, that kind of stuff. And that's just, man, I love that stuff. I love that stuff. And I think that was the moment where the seeds of what I'm doing now started to sprout, which is I love coaching. I love people and understanding people, both in the customer experience side of things with the customers, but also in just leading and developing teams, which was a big part of my responsibilities there with like people ops and hiring kind of stuff and recruiting, and then doing like culture development and team growth. And I didn't call it coaching at the time, I just called it leadership. But it's coaching, it's helping people see something bigger than what they saw for themselves previously. It's helping people solve problems that seem impossible to solve. And so really that everything started in the last 6 or so years of being at that company and growing in those roles. And then there's this other parallel growth of the identity, not just as a coach, but as an entrepreneur, which is I had done little entrepreneurial things on the side in the past while still working for companies full time in the day job. And just over the last 2, 3 years, that just kept growing and growing. And I was like, hey, I need to work for myself. Like that, the future season of my life is me not working for other people building their businesses, but building my own businesses. And that was something that really crystallized 2 years ago in starting that home gym business, which still now is kind of like a little passive thing that I do on the side. And that was like the first thing that was like, I'm just going to do this and not just make it a side thing, but really go at it, like for sincerity. And in that, also added like fitness coaching. Started doing fitness coaching, taking that, like seeing, okay, my gifting is like in coaching. It's helping people accomplish seemingly impossible goals in their career, in like the career development stuff that I was doing as a leader in the company that I was a part of, in fitness. But then as I was building my own fitness coaching business and that was going really well, like in the early half of last year, the end of 24, first half of 25, and the fitness coaching business was actually really taking off. I was like, man, this is great. And I know fitness and I can coach fitness, but coaching is just this thing that's just bigger than fitness or really any one particular aspect. And the thing that I love the most that I really want to help people with is not necessarily fitness, but it's business. I just love the game of business. I love all the mechanics of business. I love studying it. I love talking about it. And that's the thing that I really want to help people with. And so that was when I actually just kicked off my business coaching offer in like Q2 of last year and then started growing that. So that was the trajectory that I've been on. I ended up, when I first launched the business coaching offer, I was doing fitness coaching and business coaching full time, kind of side by side in the early part of last year, 2025. And the business coaching accelerated so quickly that I ended up closing down my fitness coaching business. I held on to a couple one-on-one clients I really enjoyed working with, but all of my group programs and stuff like that, shut those down, gave people refunds, and I was like, hey, I'm coaching business now. This is what we're doing.
I
So
love
that's what we're
it.
doing today.
I love it. Quite the background. You've been a coach for a long time, right? It's
Yeah,
clear that coaching is for you,
yeah,
right? You've gone through a few different vehicles of coaching now,
exactly.
but you've landed where it sounds like, especially for this season of life, where you exactly need to be. So, coming up on a year where coaching has been the number one, the coaching business, excuse me.
Yes.
Let's dive into the present day, right? It's January 2026. What does working with Cody look like? How are you structuring your work with your clients? Everything like that.
Yeah, great question. Basically, there's two ways to work with me. We do one-on-one coaching, or I have a group program, which is high ticket, low ticket. I work with founders, CEOs, and executives at a high level one on one to solve bottlenecks in their business, to create growth in their business, to create more freedom and peace and joy in their business one on one. It's expensive. And so I also have, there's this other segment that I love working with. And so that's the 100,000 and below businesses who are either just getting started, just launching a business, or maybe they're in the early stages of growing a business. They can't afford $50,000 to $100,000 for one-on-one coaching for a year. That's just way out of the budget. And so I have a lower ticket group offer, which is a fraction of the price. And we work together by every other week in a group where it's a lot of businesses at that early stage. And we just hammer out all of the real nuts and bolts of getting a business started, of go-to-market strategy and marketing and messaging and offer and lead generation and all that kind of stuff.
I love it. So you got two different offers for two different types of clients. You
Exactly.
got the one-on-one, you got the group. Makes a lot of sense. You're working with businesses, some bigger, some smaller. Are there any specific business niche you find yourself working with often, or is it quite broad?
It's pretty broad. I've worked with people building food and beverage businesses. I've worked with people in CPG space. I have a handful of people in like different types of coaching and consulting types of businesses, people in content driven businesses that are more content oriented, like newsletters, YouTube channels, things like that. This was actually the breakthrough, Zach, for me that launched me into business coaching when I thought that was actually like 10 years into the future and it became a right now thing. The lie that I believed for the longest time that kept me from fully exercising this gift that I love using as a coach was that I needed to have years of experience in a particular niche before I could give value or coach people in that niche. What I since realized the breakthrough for me that launched me into coaching this past year is the dichotomy or the difference between coaching and consulting, which consulting is like, hey, let me teach you how to do a certain process based on my industry experience and knowledge. Coaching is more widely applicable, which is I help people think more clearly and get clarity around what their goals are and their priorities are. I help people think more creatively in the way that they create opportunities and solve problems. I help people find and create courage and conviction to do this hard, scary things that maybe they've been unwilling to do or unable to do that are holding them back and keeping them stuck. And consistency, which is helping them do the things that they need to do consistently over time and build the systems and habits and accountability to do the things that create the results that they want. And all of those things are like business adjacent, And those are like the same four things that I just mentioned. I was applying those in fitness, right? I was applying those in other realms. And so just applying those to businesses, those four things, when a business is stuck or a founder feels stuck, it's usually one of those four things.
Hmm.
Now, like the nuts and bolts, the business mechanics of what that looks like in their business may vary, but it's usually one of those four pieces: clarity, creativity, courage, and consistency. And so my job as a coach isn't necessarily to know everything about their industry. They know their industry. In fact, I come in not looking at the problem through the same lens that they're looking at it through. And I can just say, oh, like you need some clarity in that. Oh, you need more creativity around that challenge. Let me help you think more creatively. So it's this business adjacent skill that I bring to a lot of different types of industries.
Yeah, you're coaching the person,
Yeah.
not necessarily the specific business niche.
Yes.
I love it.
Yep. But coaching and consulting is a little bit different. And I do some consulting if I have relevant experience to offer. But I think that's something that a lot of people and myself, I didn't know the difference of going into this.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes time. That's the entrepreneurial journey. That is for sure. Let's look at the back end of the business for a second. How are these business owners currently finding you to work with you?
Great question. So 90% ish of my clients come through LinkedIn. I don't really do any other social media. In 2026, I'm building a YouTube channel. So that'll be a second lead flow platform. But right now, it's just LinkedIn. I post on LinkedIn like an obscene amount, like 2 or 3 times a day. And I went from 3,000 followers to 10,000 followers in 2025. And so that's growing at about 1,000 followers per month. So primarily, I post about what I do and the lessons and the insights and things like that on LinkedIn, and people find
Yeah.
me there.
Yeah, LinkedIn for a lot of people it seems it's either a love it or hate it type
Yeah.
of platform. So I'd love to know walk us through your strategy when it comes to LinkedIn. Obviously, you just went through your content strategy, but when it comes to outreach, are people mostly doing inbound outreach to you? Are you doing any cold outreach? What does that look like?
It's primarily inbound. Like all of my lead flow is inbound at this point. I did some outbound stuff early on when I was first trying to get momentum and I didn't have as much followers. What I have found is you don't, I think this is a misconception with LinkedIn or really with this is true of any platform. You don't have to have tons of followers. You don't have to have a big audience. You don't have to get tons of impressions or views to get inbound leads. You have to have a really killer offer for the right people. And that has to be really clear. And the better your offer is, like I've written posts, for example, my average post gets like maybe 10,000 impressions, like 5 to 10,000 impressions. So some people it's a lot, some people it's not. Anyway, the average though, but I've had posts that have gotten 5 inbound leads before they even hit 1,000 impressions or 600 impressions,
Hmm.
right? So like 10%, 20% of the average, just because the offer that I made on that post was so good. So I would, in general, for any kind of marketing creative, I would pick a incredible attraction offer, to use like Hormozy's language of attraction offers, but your lead magnet, your attraction offer, I would pick an incredible attraction offer on mediocre creative over incredible creative with a mediocre attraction offer any day of the week. So people hyper obsess about like how to make good content, which is important. Like the more people that see your stuff, the better. It's great. But I know tons of people who are like getting tons of impressions that aren't getting inbound leads. And inbound leads are really what you want as a business.
Yeah, let's be honest. Nobody wants to be doing cold outreach,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I like literally this morning, I opened my inbox to 5 people asking how they can work with me. And it's just that regular cadence of posting content. And I have like content pillars and frameworks for what I post and how I post and all that's kind of stuff that I've refined over the last 2 years of posting multiple times a day.
Yeah. Does how you set up the offers help out with that as well? Because, like you mentioned, you have the higher ticket one-on-one. You don't have to sell a ton of those. You're probably not looking to sell 50 of those a year.
Yeah.
It's really quality over quantity in that aspect.
Yeah.
And then, hey, the group is awesome, right? So you don't necessarily need to be bringing in 50 leads a week because of the way you built the offer. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, that's very much my business strategy too, is quality over quantity as far as offers. In general, like this is a truth in business, which is if you charge twice as much, you can get told no twice as many times. You can get half as many yeses and still make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
And like even when I did my fitness coaching business, my strategy when I launched my fitness coaching business was I just looked at what everyone else charged in like the fitness, and I just charged like twice what everyone else charged. I was just like, hey, I could get half as many people, but I still make the same amount of money. So that's always been my MO for the coaching. And that was like something that I've learned multiple times, like in my own business, where like, for example, with the fitness coaching, I remember like struggling to sell fitness coaching for like $100 a month and then repackaging the same exact fitness program and offer to a different persona and people paying me over $1,000 a month happily, like for an entire year. And it just clicked of, oh, like the same thing can be worth 10x depending on who you sell it to. So persona is the most important part of your offer, and your offer starts with your content.
You charge higher prices. Typically, you get better clients. They get better results. I'll pull a Tony Robbins here. When people pay, they pay attention.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
corny, but no, great business lessons. Absolutely. So you've worked with people in the past, right? Obviously, you worked with a team in the SaaS business. This is a newer business. And I'm going to take a guess. Are you planning on being a one-man show here, or are you planning on building out some sort of support team along
Yeah.
the way?
I'd like to keep it as lean as possible for as long as possible. I love working with people. Like people is my world. People is really coaching is like just people. It's just understanding people. And business is just understanding how people work and how money works. And how money works is largely dependent on how people work. So it always comes down to just like understanding how people think, how they make decisions, how they interact with each other and communicate. So that's what I've obsessed over and loved for years and years. And that's what I do as a coach. So I love people and I love working with people. I love to have a team, but I scratch that itch just working with incredible business owners and founders in the group and one-on-one. I just got back from visiting some clients and doing some powerful kickoff sessions for the year in Weatherford, Texas and Tacoma, Washington. And man, just really fun. So I'm really okay with either. What I don't want to sacrifice is I don't want to sacrifice my energy and my power in the business so that it no longer feels fun and energizing. So if I'm having to manage a lot of like complicated details and things no longer feel fun and energizing, I think that's going to kill my business. And so I want to be really protective of that. So I might bring people on when it becomes clear that it would be really fun and energizing to have them on the team and their strengths will actually help the take over the things that aren't fun and energizing for me. Long-term vision, though, is really to probably do more of the Tony Robbins, Gino Wickman, Patrick Lencioni, Donald Miller playbook, which is probably more of the IP and franchise and licensing model with the coaching. So I plan on writing some books and then creating sort of a license model, just like Tony Robbins has done with his Tony Robbins certified coaching. Gino Wickman's done with his EOS and Traction certified EOS implementers, right? He's like coached people for a long time, developed the frameworks, trademark that and publish it as IP in a book and things like that, and then license that for other people to teach that IP. Patrick Lencioni's done it with his Working Genius and Working Genius implementers. Donald Miller's done that with StoryBrand, with the StoryBrand model, and you can be a licensed, certified StoryBrand coach. So that's the path that I would like to go on the business. And eventually, like when publishing becomes a thing, I don't know if that'll be like in-house employees or if that'll just be partnerships with publishers and stuff to handle some of that stuff. But that's
Mhm.
the vision long term.
Yeah, long term, you got it all planned out very clearly. What about this year, 2026? Any
Yeah.
specific goals you're looking to hit this year?
This year, the goal is to do $1 million in revenue. That's like the kind of singular goal. Now there's supporting goals underneath that of I want to create $100,000 coaching engagements, which is kind of like 2x where I'm at right now. I want to create the YouTube channel and get that up and running and probably get that to 3 million views in 2026. And I've built YouTube channels for other businesses in the past, so I'm really excited to start doing that for the Coach Cody brand. I plan on scaling the LinkedIn still, and just at the rate we're going, it'll probably go from like 10 to 20,000 followers in 2026, maybe more than 20,000. It's probably like about 1,000 per month at the current growth rate, followers per month. So really, like, big picture, I want to get to the $1 million mark, the like 7-figure coaching business where it's just me coaching people one-on-one in some groups and do 7 figures. If I hit that, great. I'm not wrapping my entire identity around that. It's just a fun challenge. So
Yeah.
I know that that's a pretty ambitious goal from where I was last year, but just in the last like 6 months, like, the business has skyrocketed. So the growth, I've doubled my pricing every like 2 months. And at some point that'll hit a ceiling, but I just see that trajectory continuing into this year and doing some really fun stuff with it.
Yeah, you got the momentum going. Keep it building. It sounds
Yeah.
like it is. I love
Yep.
it. Cody, pleasure having you on, my friend. Where's the best place? Obviously, LinkedIn. You're heavy on LinkedIn. Cody Lutz. Is it Lutz?
Lutz. Yeah, you nailed
Cody
it, man.
Lutz. Perfect. Any other platforms you're on, or is LinkedIn the best place to find you?
Yeah. So LinkedIn and YouTube are the two platforms that I'm on the most. Cody Lutz or Coach Cody on YouTube. And then you can find my at my website as well, which is
mycoachcody.com. Perfect. Cody, my friend, it was a great conversation. Thank you so much for your time today.
a pleasure, Zach.
And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founders Feature. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Cody on his LinkedIn and YouTube. All of his links will be in the show notes and description down below. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.